So guys, Nigerians have woken up. Protest has begun because of insecurity. They said enough of the kidnappings. This is happening in Edo State. See how this headline captured it. Massive protest in Ekpoma, Edo State, as citizens speak up against rising kidnappings in their community and tearing all Tinubu's posters down. They are destroying Tinubu's posters. This is happening in Edo State. So guys, in Ekpoma, they said enough is enough. This person said Edo State is no longer safe for Edo-lites. Kidnappers now go to people's houses to kidnap them. APC has failed Edo people. You know, recently we saw two doctors. One of them is a medical doctor, one of them is a nutritionist. Two of them, after working on New Year Day, they went home to relax. Kidnappers came to their houses, whether they were living together, and picked them up. So guys, at the end of the day, they pied one of them. They were demanding for 2 million naira. That money was not provided. They quickly killed one to threaten Nigerians so that they will raise money for the other person. They now started demanding 100 million naira for the one that is still alive. Until now, we've not had any news that that doctor has been released. Now, these people from Ekpoma, they are actually protesting because of the level of kidnappings around the university. I think that's Ambrose Ali University or so in Ekpoma. They said enough of the kidnapping, that they've had a lot of incidences as regards to kidnapping in Edo State. So guys, talking about insecurity in Nigeria, you must have heard that a guy who went to defend his people, Fulani terrorists, invaded his community and he went there to protect his people. He was arrested under El-Rufai's government, and now the current government in Kaduna State has sentenced him to death by hanging. Now guys, before we continue this video, I just want you to take a little view of what this guy has got to say, and we are going to be back on this news. Just take a look at this short clip first.
When I said Nigeria is finished, Nigeria is finished. Nigeria is finished. This young man called Zidane was sentenced to death. Was sentenced to prison, sorry, by El-Rufai. Why did they sentence this boy to prison? Because bandits won't kill their community. Bandits, they finish their community. Now this young boy talks, say, no, bandits, they kill us. What do we do? Now mobilize boys. Say, now we be security now. More would they guide our security. More would they guide this community. As they were guarding this community, bandits go come, try to operate. They don't give bandits a chance. Bandits try to kill this guy. Bandit no fit. Now bandits go report, give El-Rufai. Tell El-Rufai, say, we don't try, you're going to fit the penetrate to wait. El-Rufai can send military. May they go catch this guy. This Zene guy. As they catch this guy, 2019, I'm go straight to prison. As I am talking to you today, that guy have been in prison since 2019 to today. Now, the new governor don't sentence this guy to death by hanging. This boy must not die. I beg you, everybody, help me share this video, please. What be this boy crime? Because say they protect his people. Because say they protect himself. Now make the sentence to death by hanging. Meanwhile, the same Nigeria, government, they negotiate with bandits. We have so many military people that they are bandits. We get people who don't give amnesty for Nigeria, give them money, that they live as big man for inside this country. You know why they give them money? Because they kill innocent Nigeria. They take innocent Nigeria life. I beg you in the name of God, help me share this video. This video must go viral. That boy must not die. I beg you. That boy must not die. He not do anything now. He cried and just say protect the people. For you to protect your own people again, that they sentence you to death by hanging. Meanwhile, Sheikh Gumi, the worker will convoy. Meanwhile, bandits, they do TikTok life. Meanwhile, criminals, people who don't loot this country, they get escort. But the person where they protect in young people, they sentence them to death by hanging. This is the Nigeria that we are.
Now, talking about insecurity, take a look at this headline. It says, breaking, the chairman of Agatu local government area of Benue State, Mervin Eje, had ordered herdsmen to vacate Agatu land with immediate effect following renewed violent attacks that have left residents dead, injured, and displaced. They are saying we've had enough. Since you guys don't want to live in peace, just leave our land. Just leave our land. We need peace. But since you are not for peace, you can just live on your own. So guys, Nigerians are wondering what the Tinubu's government is using taxpayers' money to do. Since they can't give us security, they can't give us lights, they can't give us good roads, people are not being skilled, Nigerians are left unemployed, especially the youth. There's no empowerment, no productivity. We depend on borrowing. A whole lot has been happening. Nigerians are saying Tinubu is not even accounting for the subsidy removal, and they are collecting taxes They are not giving us common security, set up community policing. The Northerners are resisting it. They not want to be the one that will set up community police that will police the entire Nigeria, like what you've seen Ribadu doing. They want the Fulanis to be the ones to to be the security architecture that will supervise security in the community level, across Nigeria. That is actually the plot which Nigerians are resisting. Now, talking about Tinubu and what they are using Nigerian money to do, since they can't give us security, no light, no skill, no empowerment, no employment. Now, let's see some of these headlines. This one here says, Budget 2026, Tinubu government to spend over 200 million naira, 200 million naira taxpayers' money on blogging, influencers, PR lobby, others. This is what Tinubu wants to use your money that he's going to collect from you as taxes to give to people to be on social media, to be promoting his government. Because if not, tell me what else Tinubu wants to use this to do with bloggers and influencers. Election is coming. So guys, a whole lot. This has led to so much backlash on the social media. Now see, 2026 budget again. Tinubu Shetima aids to spend 12 billion naira, 12.2 billion naira on foreign trips in 2026, while millions of Nigerians face abject poverty, insecurity, no road, no empowerment, no skill. So guys, this is the kind of thing we are seeing under the Tinubu's government. Now this one says, Government of pain, Tinubu imposes new tax on Nigeria. Approves 6.1 billion naira for foreign travels alone for the two of them, while for his aides and the Tinubu's government, they'll be using 12-point-something billion naira to travel. The one that has even caught the Nigerian people's attention the most is this one that says President Bola Tinubu allocates 1.1 trillion naira to INEC in 2026 budget. Only for 2026, 1.6 trillion naira. Only 2026, 1.01 trillion naira to INEC in 2026 budget, marking one of the largest allocation ahead of 2027 elections. So guys, tell me what INEC will be doing with this. At the end of the day, they will tell us that there was a glitch. Hey, Nigerians have been raising alarm. People have been asking, has INEC been ever audited? Is there any time we've taken time to audit who and who is really eating the money that INEC is being given? Now, Tinubu has the mind to give INEC. Oh my God. So the taxes they just want to collect is for themselves, because there's no way you give INEC this money. And INEC will close their eyes when it comes to helping you in election, because we don't know what this money is going to be used for. Now, this person say, while 141 million Nigerians face abject poverty, Tinubu government budgets 2 million naira for influencers, budget bloggers with taxpayers' money, which is what I've told you initially. And this one is still saying, breaking why Nigerians plunges into darkness. Tinubu's Aso Villa gets 7 billion solar, only for solar upgrade in 2026, despite 10 billion that they've already used in 2025. In next year, they are just going to upgrade it with 7 billion. Solar, they don't give us electricity, but they are busy using solar. So guys, these are some of the things we are talking about. And then this one is the one I've told you before, giving INEC 1.1 trillion naira by Nigerian stories. You know, INEC is going to get 1.1 trillion naira. So guys, you can be asking, what is the Tinubu's government doing with all the money they've saved from subsidies, saved from all kinds of places? And news is reaching us that another money that the UK is going to be sending more money that came from Abacha's loot. All that we saw under Buhari, we can't account for it, and Tinubu is going to be getting more money from the UK from Abacha's loot. That's the latest news today, and Nigerians are wondering. Now, talking about what is happening now and how they are recklessly using our money, you must have heard that Chimamanda lost her son. Guess what? That child actually died in Nigeria. You know, that child was not sick. It's not as if that child was having any strong ailment or serious ailment. They said the child caught a cold, and they were like, you know, took the child to the hospital. Before you know it, from one thing to the other, and that child died. And guess what? They are pointing to carelessness of the hospital, the doctor in charge, or the doctor involved, and all that. Now guys, this shows you, like this lady here is saying that is because of the carelessness of the doctor, that if people are not held responsible. And she also pointed to the failure of the health system in Nigeria. All our senators are going out. Tinubu goes out for medical checkup. I mean, nothing is working for the masses. Now take your time, guys, to listen to this story, this pathetic, heart-touching story. Just like Anthony Joshua came with his friends to Nigeria and they died here. Chimamanda brought her twins to Nigeria. One of them died here. So guys, these are no good news for the country. And we have our president going out for medical care. Buhari did the same thing. Tinubu said he will continue where Buhari stopped, and exactly what he's doing. Take your time, watch these videos, and let me know your honest reaction in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell notification for more updates. Now take a look.
The 21-month-old son of acclaimed author Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie and her husband, Dr. Ivara Esige. Beyond the headlines lies a family in deep pain. Now joining us to share this very painful loss and matters arising from it is Nkanu's aunt, Dr. Anthea Esige Nwadu, a dual board-certified internal medicine physician with over 30 years of clinical experience, who is speaking out both as a family and as a medical professional in a call for transparency, accountability, and urgent healthcare. My condolences first of all, and great to have you here on Perspectives. So let me start. We just heard the shocking news that your nephew's death was due to medical negligence. So please, can you tell us what exactly happened? First of all, our condolences, as I said before.
Thank you very much. So my nephew was admitted at Atlantis Pediatric Care Hospital and was being managed there.
Here in Nigeria?
In Lagos.
Yes.
He had been stabilized, and there were plans underway to have him moved to Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore, Maryland. The team had requested that he receive an MRI of the brain, a spinal tap, and a central line in order to further evaluate him and prepare him for the journey. Atlantis recommended Eurocare as the best place to get these procedures done. He was transported by ambulance to Eurocare Hospital in VI and was taken to the MRI suite. At the MRI suite, he was reported to be restless. And so to do the MRI scan, you do need the patient to be still. So he received IV sedation.
He received what?
IV, intravenous sedation with propofol.
Yes. Sorry, my condolences.
So he received IV sedation for the imaging, and the medical director, shortly after that, affirmed to Chimamanda that he received too much sedation. Wow. Between the MRI suite and the cardiac cath lab, where he was to receive the second procedure, the spinal tap and the central line, he was unmonitored. He was supposed to be on oxygen. He was not on oxygen. And so reportedly arrives at the cardiac cath
This was in the same hospital, in the same building.
Reportedly arrived at the cardiac cath suite, pulseless. And so CPR was instituted. He was placed on a life support machine, mechanical ventilation. And of note, he was transported, a critically ill baby who came in on oxygen.
That was, at that time, not breathing.
That at the time was found to be pulseless and transported in a way that was not according to standards of practice, and was found to be pulseless in the cardiac cath lab. Reports, as we know, investigations are still ongoing. What happened in that interim is yet to be determined.
So, three things.
The medical negligence happened after he got over-sedated, as affirmed by the medical director, And in addition, he was transported by the anesthetist
Unaided.
on his shoulder, unmonitored, not on oxygen. And that is pure and total medical negligence.
Wow.
And a critically ill baby who came in on oxygen was disconnected from his oxygen for transportation, unmonitored.
But why was he disconnected from the oxygen?
I can't answer that question.
So that was that due to absolute negligence?
Pure negligence.
So wait,
resulting in cardiac arrest and from the oversedation and brain injury.
So he was oversedated, then he was not breathing, and he wasn't given any oxygen.
And so was transported.
And was transported during that time.
During that time, unmonitored and not on
unmonitored
oxygen.
with no oxygen tank.
No oxygen. And so he arrived at the MRI suite, pulseless.
And that was at that point in time. It was when they now decided to try and put him on the oxygen. Resuscitate him, which they should have done.
He should have been transported on oxygen and monitored continuously.
Continuously.
Not only oxygen, his blood pressure, his pulse, and his breathing should have been monitored continuously.
But is the hospital aware of this negligence? Have they acknowledged where it went wrong?
They're aware.
So what is now the next step?
So I'm a physician. I've worked for over 30 years in various healthcare systems. And I've worked at the hospitals at bedside. This is evidence or a symptom of a totally dysfunctional healthcare system. At the hospital level, probably at the wider society level. And I'm speaking not just as a physician, but as someone who is deeply pained by the loss of my baby boy, my kanu. And so, in a healthcare system that is dysfunctional, there has to be accountability. There has to be change. There has to be systemic reforms. An apology is not enough. Acknowledging fault or responsibility is not enough. It means that would just simply mean that the tragedy is just another loss.
And we've had one loss too many.
And we've had one loss too many. We are able to speak up. We are able to demand change. We are able to speak to the public, to demand and be outraged, not just for this tragedy that has affected us, but so many others who are probably unable to speak up, don't have the means to speak up, or no one will listen to them. So this is a time this is a warning for everyone at multiple levels, from the top to the bottom, from the bottom to the top, to demand change.
Now, when this happened, did they give you any excuse as to why he was left unattended at those crucial moments? Did the hospital tell you why, or they have just not given you any answer that is plausible enough?
Investigations are ongoing. This is a report we have received so far from interviews with the doctors. I can't speak for him. I don't know what he was thinking, but it was clearly negligence. Any child, any patient who is critically ill and comes to you on oxygen, receives an overdose of IV sedation, requires continuous monitoring every second of your oxygen levels in your blood, of your blood pressure, of your breathing, your pulse, requires continuous monitoring in this context.
Can you explain how bad the overdose was? What was he supposed to have been given, and what was he now given?
So
instead?
we were told he was given propofol. Chimamanda was there when this happened, and she was informed that he was oversedated, so received too much propofol. I cannot tell you how much he gave, when he gave it, because I don't have that record. I don't have that information. I would love to know that as well. But the evidence is clear that he was oversedated and he was found to be pulseless, which means his brain stopped, his circulation stopped, he was resuscitated, and subsequently, even after that, the anesthetist did not follow standard protocols and procedures for a patient, for a critically ill baby that was sedated and oversedated.
Wow. So what is your family's ultimate goal now beyond seeking answers? How can this tragedy help ensure that medical personnel and healthcare facilities do not fail another family in the same way?
So, Kanu is gone, right? Kanu is gone. We'll never get Kanu back. But we want accountability. We want consequences. We want reforms at multiple levels. At the level of the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria, at the level of the Ministry of Health, at the level of the multiple policymakers involved in making decisions, at the level of the hospital leadership boards, at the level of healthcare providers, and the general public.
Yes.
They have a right to demand proper care. They have a right. We are now the voice for the voiceless. We are now speaking for those who are unable to speak up. And for those who probably have lost their children without anyone even knowing. And there were no consequences.
Yes.
There was no accountability.
Anyway, we're going for a short break now.
Okay.
So we're going for a short break now. Please don't go anywhere soon. We'll see you right back on Perspectives. Welcome back to Perspectives. Let's get straight back to our doctor in the house. Now, Auntie, I want to ask you, what hospital did this happen? Because I don't think we mentioned the hospital itself. What hospital did this situation happen?
It happened at Eurocare.
Eurocare?
In VI, yes.
Wow. Now, so what steps do you want to take, and what are the medical bodies that need to be involved in order for you to really make a big case out of the situation and use it as a case study for future incidents? What bodies are you going to get? Medical bodies are you approaching?
So our ultimate goal, like I said, is accountability and consequences and justice. Obviously, Kanu cannot come back. He's gone. But we don't want his death to be in vain. Mm-hmm. Apologies are not enough. Taking responsibility is not enough. We're demanding a thorough, transparent investigation and consequences. For this to result in systemic, sustainable changes in the Nigerian healthcare system, multiple levels need to be involved, including the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria, which is the licensing board for healthcare providers in Nigeria, the Ministry of Health and the policymakers, hospital boards, hospital leadership, individual healthcare providers, and the general public. There needs to be ongoing, continuous medical education of providers, supervision of providers, patient safety systems in place at multiple levels to prevent tragedies like this from happening. The general public needs to know what their rights are, and they should have a forum to be able to speak up when they feel or they don't feel that their loved one is being treated with respect and dignity. And
many of them are not even aware of the power that they have to address the issues like you're just doing now. A lot of them just fade into oblivion and, call it God's
it's God's will
or whatever.
And no one knows about it.
Exactly. There's even been incidents. Do you also think that we need more medical lawyers that will support patients and fight their cause? Absolutely. I don't know whether we have enough of those here, because if every hospital that created such misdemeanor, if they were being, and it's not about money, but if they were being sued and they were losing hundreds of millions with every scenario like this that happens, maybe they will be a lot more careful. But I don't see things like that happening. You hear of controversial deaths like this, and then after a while it just fades into oblivion. So do you also think that we need stronger medical lawyers here?
Absolutely.
To be able to handle these cases and
medical malpractice is almost, and consequences is almost non-existent in Nigeria.
I wonder why.
I don't know. Patients don't have a voice. There's no one advocating for families or the general public and those who can't afford it. There's no forum for patients to speak up and share. Healthcare providers also are poorly trained, not accountable to anyone, have no compassion. it's as if life is just so cheap in
Do you
Nigeria.
also think that the level of training remains poor because of this Japa syndrome? Because if you look, I mean, I think recently our doctors apparently had gone on strike or were supposed to have gone on strike. And every time you look at the medical system, you know, it makes you wonder whether we're not even living in very dangerous times. Because most of these hospitals, they train doctors to a certain level, but the doctors Japa. So do you think also this adds to the malpractices that happen in hospitals, the level of quality of doctors that we have on ground?
I
Diminishing?
think there's a fundamental problem in the healthcare system and the training systems in Nigeria. The training systems are very deficient. The doctors literally have no mentors, they're not supervised. They don't even know, many people don't know what patient safety systems are. It's a system, it's not just a thing, it's a system that is designed to prevent this kind of thing. So, I mean, even if doctors are lying, the few that are left here should be trained properly. They should know, they should be aware, there should be consequences, there should be systems in place to prevent.
But one would have thought in a place like Eurocare, such things will not be compromised.
Well, it's obvious that they didn't have, the doctor did not follow standard practice, standard clinical practice. What is the accountability at the individual level and at the hospital level? We will see. But there has to be accountability. Every provider, every hospital, every institution needs to have in place accountability structures, not just being fired. Because this person who's being fired can go to the next hospital and do the same, commit the same mistakes. And it's not just that. The provider that I spoke with at the hospital was so nonchalant.
After the incident
Yes, I spoke with him.
Are you serious?
I interviewed him. He was so nonchalant. He was literally...
This is after the boy had
literally was looking at me and smiling, and I had to say
he was
to him,
smiling?
There's nothing funny here. This is not funny. There's nothing to smile about.
Well, that's what he's smiling.
I don't understand why there's no element of compassion, empathy.
So there was no remorse, there was no sorrow, there was no...
None.
Oh my word.
So, and he was clearly negligent. He was clearly negligent.
But was he aware that he was negligent? Was he aware of his negligence, or it was brought to his attention after?
This is where, you know, it's a verbal report. I don't have the medical records yet. It's a verbal report. His medical director did admit that he was clearly negligent. He did not take responsibility. He did not take responsibility, but the medical director did so, and admitted that this particular provider was incompetent. Okay. He did not follow standard clinical practice for a baby, a patient who was critically ill.
A 21-month-old baby.
21-month-old baby, critically ill, on oxygen, had just received, we don't know how much IV sedation he was given, but again, it was affirmed.
Overdose.
It was affirmed to the Chimamanda that he received too much propofol.
Oh my word. So,
and after that, proceeded to transport my nephew
with no oxygen,
with no monitoring, no oxygen, no continuous monitoring, which is standard clinical practice.
How was he transported? Did he carry him
on his shoulder?
Oh, he carried him on his shoulder.
On his shoulder.
Oh my word. Someone that was meant to be on oxygen. Oh my word. So I'm so sorry to hear about this, and I want you to understand, please, my condolences. I'm so sorry to hear about this, please. We're so sorry that this has happened. Please give our heartfelt condolences to Chimamanda and her husband. She has been loved by many. She's our literal icon. She has so many fans all over the world, and I do hope that she understands that we share her pain. So sorry about this, and I hope that you will see the end of this. So sorry. Thank you so much, Doctor, for your very informative piece. And we are behind you. Anytime that you need any form of media awareness, please feel free to see us. We'll continue to pray for you and your family, for your irreparable loss.
I have to say that, can I say one more thing?
Yes, yes.
This is a call to action. From the top to the bottom. From our government, like I said, the licensing bodies, to hospital leadership, medical institutions, academic, non-academic, healthcare providers, and the general public.
Yes.
It is a call to action. It is a call to demand for change.
Yes.
And we are speaking for the voiceless.
Yes.
We are now the voice of the voiceless.
Yes.
To demand this change at multiple levels.
Thank you.
For patient safety.
Thank you so much, Dr. Anthea. Thank you so much for your piece on this matter. And like I said, we are behind you fully. If you need us at any time, we're here to support you in whatever you decide to do.
Thank you.
So as we close, we hold space for two distinct yet deeply human losses. We extend compassion and grace to the family of Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie as they mourn the loss of their son. And separately, in reflecting on the passing of Anda Damisa, we say to those struggling in silence, those struggling with mental health, you are not a burden. Your pain is real and help exists, even when it feels far away. For the rest of us, let Damisa's passing be a call to listen more, judge less, and create spaces where people feel safe enough to speak before silence feels like the only option left. And to the Chimamanda and her family, we are behind you 100%, and we use this story to set a new precedent in the medical field in Nigeria.
Rather than caution the governor for his infractions on the constitution, they are clapping for him. Rather than calling on the governor, they are calling on our FCT minister, who is helping Mr. President in Abuja, and making it look like it's a problem between the FCT minister and the governor. It is not FCT minister and the governor. It is the governor and the constitution. The governor is a threat to our democracy. It is better we all resign and leave the governor and those he wants to use to defraud Rivers people. We cannot continue to allow this to happen.
Some political actors tell Arise News that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's constant interventions may have led to the failed attempt in the past.
And I'm confident in my heart that Mr. President definitely will never take this for granted. I will never allow such a thing to happen as long as Nigeria is concerned and as long as APC is concerned in Rivers State.
Our state needs peace at the moment, and what they have done now is not in the interest of Rivers people. If not for anything, there are certain times you make consultation with your constituents, and to them, what has the constituents said? Because you must consult your constituents before taking such decisions as this, because impeachment does not start and end with them.
Remember, as assembly members, we have given them mandate to represent us there, and to represent us means to checkmate the executive.
But the APC in the state also remains divided between Tony Okocha, who is recognized by the National Working Committee, and Emeka Beke, who still claims to be the genuine Rivers APC chairman, who was validly elected as a state congress and not imposed. While the APC faction in Rivers, led by Emeka Beke, has asked the State House of Assembly to resist moves to destabilize the Fabara-led government, Tony Okocha, who is an ally of the FCT minister Nyesom Wike, has however remained mum and refused to comment on the matter despite an Arise News inquiry on his views on the matter. This development has further divided Rivers residents who thought it was previously an internal issue within the former ruling People's Democratic Party, from which both actors defected to the APC. Governor Fubara had, while receiving the APC membership card at the Rivers State Government House from Okocha, said his decision to join the APC is aimed at aligning with the ruling party at the federal level to ensure political stability, commending President Bola Tinubu for supporting his administration. But with the recent outburst between the APC National Secretary Ajibola Basiru and Nyesom Wike, many political observers say the APC now seems to have a Wike problem, just like the PDP, and are calling for a swift dialogue to address the contentious issues that a likely impeachment of Governor Siminalayi Fubara may throw up in the polity at the state and national levels.
Well, quite a lot said there, but joining us now to share his thoughts on all of that, as well as the Nigerian Tax Administration Act 2025, is lawyer and public policy analyst, Libros Oshoma. Good morning, Libros, and Happy New Year to you. Good to have you on the morning show today.
Yeah, good morning, Steve and Awa, and Happy New Year.
Thank you very much. Good morning. All right, let's talk about Rivers State. Rivers of trouble, some people will say, or 1 week, one trouble. as far as Rivers State is concerned. The trouble is back somehow, and there are two key dimensions to it. There's a political dimension of the trouble between the governor, Sim Fubara, and his godfather, the minister, Nyesom Wike. But of course, the other trouble with the House of Assembly, where the Speaker, Amaule, in initiating what is it called? A removal of the president, an impeachment of the governor, impeachment of the governor, is saying clearly that Governor Fubara is a threat to democracy. Very, very tough words there being used. What is your reading, Liberals, of all that is happening in Rivers State at this point? What do you think triggered it, and how far do you think that the Rivers State House of Assembly can go this time around, given the fact that it was the same rhetoric that led ultimately to the state of emergency that kept Fubara away for 6 months last year?
Yeah, thank you once again, and Happy New Year to viewers. When I heard that word, Fubara is a threat to democracy, and I asked myself the question, are they not all threats to democracy? Is this how democracy is run, really, if we're talking about democracy? Starting from the election, for a man to boast that he bought forms for all the members of the House of Assembly, including the governor, and senators and House of Rep, and nobody's asking him where are his tax returns and what are his earnings, where did the money come from? Is that not a threat to democracy? For a man who is a minister of the FCT to sit down, rather than sit down in Abuja, is in Rivers State, going around as if campaigns has started and shouting agreement, disagreement, I will not support the governor, and what the Gen Z will call cho-cho-cho. Is that not a threat to democracy? As if he's the only voter in Rivers State. And then after all of that is said, the next thing, the House of Assembly pretending to enforce the Constitution now comes around to say, yes, there's a threat to democracy. We suddenly woke up and we want to enforce these provisions of Section 188 of the Constitution. Are these not threats to democracy, where party members, rather than involve internal party mechanism for resolving dispute, will all look towards the president to resolve, and yet you say you don't want to create superhuman? Is that not threat to democracy? So when I look at these people masquerading as Democrat and bandying the Constitution, I just laugh, because in the first place, we all know during the emergency rule that you said that we all are aware of, I choose to call it an interregnum for the Rivers people. We all know that a budget was passed at the National Assembly. That budget, according to, initially I had thought, because the Supreme Court had ruled that misconduct is as defined by the members of the House of Assembly. So what they term as misconduct is what misconduct is. So I had thought that the governor was actually spending extra budgetary expenses without recourse to the House of Assembly, until I listened to the spokesperson of the House of Assembly saying that when the governor came back after the state of emergency, they knew that there was a budget in operation, but that the fact that that budget did not cover the plans and program of the governor, so they have asked him to submit another budget, and the governor had bluntly refused to submit another budget. The question a reasonable man would ask is, what if the governor decides to run that budget to a logical conclusion, to its end, before submission of another budget? Must you now define what the governor's plans and programs are for the governor? Or are you in a position to tell him what he should do or how he should implement a budget that had been passed, duly passed, when you were away? Or also, are you surreptitiously asking the governor to bring a budget so that you can also add your interest to that budget? And failure to add your interest to the budget is what is leading to all of this. These are the questions that they are not ready to ask.
Right.
And sorry, lastly, and they keep
I don't know what they call the rest of us, telling us that it has nothing to do with the FCT minister who is helping Mr. President in Abuja. Is that how to help Mr. President? We've seen the FCT minister all over the internet as if he's campaigning, going everywhere, holding rallies. Is that help of Mr. President also? And then the next move was an impeachment notice. I don't know what these people call us sometimes, but we'll look at the process of impeachment, because you have asked how long this would take and how long it will go. There are procedures, and for a long time now, most of the impeachments that had been impeachment, no matter how well crafted, that we had seen in recent time, including that of the Edo State Deputy Governor and that of Kogi State Deputy Governor, the Supreme Court had nullified them, because you remember that oust.
So guys, a whole lot has been happening in Nigeria recently. You know, people have really been reacting, considering the fact that insecurity, people are no longer safe. I mean, you can't move around, you can't have fun. There's nothing you can do in Nigeria that an environment that is not safe. Tell me what you will be doing. Sometimes people say there is money in Nigeria, there is money. Do you know people who have lost their lives that were supposed to be alive today, but they lost their life just because they found themselves in Nigeria? Recently, I made a video about Chimamanda. Chimamanda had twins, you know, and she came to Nigeria with these twins. Guess what? One of them died. Not because this child had a chronic ailment. The child caught a cold, something that even just boiling ginger and water can, like somebody was saying, why not just give that child ginger water with clove, that in few days the thing will just automatically clear. This was what took Chimamanda to the hospital in Nigeria. Possibly she went to some of these one of these first class hospitals, you know, that people would think, oh, getting there will guarantee you life, only for her to lose one of her twins. So that has come with a whole lot of reactions. People are reacting, saying, where are we heading to as a country? I mean, Nigerians, where are we heading to? So there is this video that emerged where a CCTV footage, you know, that was captured. And it says CCTV footage captures kidnapping that occurred this evening around 6 a.m. in Ekpoma, Edo State, as the victim was abducted immediately after driving into his compound to park his car into his compound. So guys, into his compound. So you can see that Nigeria is no longer a safe place. I mean, this other is okay. Yeah, it's the same thing. So let me just take you through some of the reactions from Nigerians. This country is turning out to be something else. I'm just worried how Nnamdi Kanu is sentenced to life imprisonment. We have terrorists all over the places terrorizing the country, especially if they are from the north. They are sacred cows. Please, somebody should make this make sense to me. I mean, recently, ISWAP came out saying, either you convert or you die. Nigeria is seeing it as just a main statement. They go to communities, they set them ablaze. Look at what is happening in Plateau. People welcome you into their state, you now turn to become mayhem. You became a menace to them. Look at what is happening. There's this video that was posted by Ezekiel Dachumo, the Reverend. You need to see people's hands cut off, people injured, leaving women in pain. Oh my God, because they are Christians. I'm just wondering what kind of religion promotes you killing others. That shouldn't be a religion. I mean, that shouldn't be a religion. Anyway, guys, I'm going to take you through some of the reactions from Nigerians, you know, as regards to this kidnapping. This person here said, sorry, I'm a bit looking down because I'm reading from my tablet. This person here said, a true tale of Nigerian reality. In Nigeria, you can be broke, struggling to survive, yet because you dress well, speak well, and refuse to look pitiful, people assume you are wealthy. That false perception becomes dangerous. Kidnappers don't investigate bank accounts. Okay, let me read further. Kidnappers don't investigate bank account. They judge by appearance. Your confidence become a liability, your dignity a risk, your packaging a target. So if you live cautiously, not too rich to attract danger, not too poor to be ignored by help. This is a cruel balance Nigerians are forced to maintain. Oh, Nigeria, my country, where survival now acquires looking poor enough to stay alive. Look, this person is trying to say that in Nigeria, if you are looking like a wealthy, so you are already exposing yourself to danger. That's exactly what this person is saying. That if you are doing anything and you want people to see you as, not even that you want to pose as a rich person, you just want to look clean, look neat. There are people that naturally, even if they don't have money, they want to appear neat. I mean, but in Nigeria today, it's really scary for you to take that position. This person in Nigeria now, wow, Tinubu, see your country. Another person, what an isolated property. What does he expect to happen? What kinder business is he involved in that you got to hide away like this? Can you imagine? This person is saying that the house is isolated. Can you imagine? House that you have houses around. And this is just a cassava farm. This is a cassava farm close to the place. And somebody is saying that the house is isolated. I don't see any isolation here. I don't really see any isolation at all. But it's so good that this guy was wise enough to put CCTV around. But it's still not going to help, because I don't think the faces of the guys who conducted that kidnapping, I don't think their faces were captured. Now this person, what an isolated building. This person, we shall still pay tax. I say, make I ask. We go still pay tax. I say, make I ask. This person is saying, promise made, promise fulfilled. Video, we are going to provide you with insecurity, says Edo APC governorship candidate. That was during the election. The man mistakenly said, I'm going to provide you with insecurity. Possibly he doesn't even know what the difference is between security and insecurity. And this other person here said, they formed this useless police. They said they can't enter bush. But what their job is in this country, I'm confused. Okay, this person said that the police is like becoming useless. They can't enter the bushes to go look for these kidnappers, and that is why they are causing all this mayhem all over the places. Another person is in Nigeria is finished Shomo. This person, Ekpoma, is now a dangerous place to live. Another person, this country as a whole is now a dangerous place to live. This person say this is terrifying. Security in Nigeria is a major issue. Wow. Another person is say this is absolutely insane. Like, what exactly going on? So guys, people are left in shock because of what is happening in Edo State. Edo, one of all people, where you have learned people, many of them have traveled far and wide, and see what they are left with. So guys, it's really sad. When Shomole brought this governor, he claims Obaseki was bad. See the person he brought now. Somebody who does not, possibly all the money in Edo State is being siphoned. He does not even know the figure of what he has and what he doesn't have. That is why people are lamenting. He's busy following Tinubu just for the next election, so that Tinubu will see him as an obedient servant and be able to give him Edo State again the next election. He wants to stay there for 2 tenures, not because he really wants to work for the people. He's just like what Yaya Bello did during the time of Buhari. Before Buhari say, hey, come, Yaya Bello is already in Abuja. Before Buhari say, give Fulanis land, Yaya Bello has already asked them to use trailer to load them and enter Kogi. Today, see what Kogi has turned into. They use human lives to do politics. They're playing with Muslims that believe in jihad. It's all about killing. I don't know where this country is heading to. It's really so pathetic, looking at the way things are going, and we have this kind of leadership on ground that doesn't even care. It's all about them. Have you not seen Tinubu on his convoy? You see cars, you'll be wondering what is happening. Is it just convoy, or are these cars for sale? One person moving, you see how many vehicles following Tinubu for security reasons, but the masses are left to shield themselves, or otherwise you'll be quiet. This one say protested yesterday. State government deployed security forces to raid houses and arrest boys because Aboki livestock were stolen and killed. This evening, a fresh kidnapping case happened, and the same police raiding houses have refused to go after the kidnappers, saying it is unsafe for them. What a story! Oh God! You see it in Edo State. They said protested yesterday. State government deployed security officers to raid houses and arrest boys because Aboki's livestock were stolen and killed. You see, people protested. So possibly out of the anger, Aboki livestock, maybe their cows were stolen and killed. This evening, fresh kidnapping case has happened. Nobody is sending police. So guys, you can see how these are leaders, especially in the south, they worship the north a lot. You saw when the killing of hunters, nobody support them to take law into their hands. But when that happened, before you know it, Edo state governor don't reach north. The north owns this country. People are saying divide this country so that everybody will go and rule his or her own region. I think it's beginning to make sense, because being united, you can't force your religion on people. You can't just be moving into people's territory and begin to buy them. I think enough of all this. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell notification for more. Thank you.